Long, long ago, there lived a king and a queen. They lived in a beautiful palace. The two longed for a child, but one never came. Day after day, they hoped that that would be the day. But the child never came. One day, a frog jumped out of the water. Ribbit, ribbit. You will have a daughter. The king and queen said, "Really?" A few years later, a baby girl was born. She was beautiful. She had black hair, blue eyes, and beautiful long lashes. The king was thrilled. He had a daughter. He decided to have a festival. People would come from everywhere. He invited everyone. They had a feast and celebration. The king, in his palace, he had 13 wise women. It turned out that he only had room at the table for 12. One of those wise women would not be invited. The time came, and people came from near and far. They were excited. It was a wonderful celebration. They were excited about the king's daughter. The wise women, they came to the king. "In honor of the king, we will grant your daughter wishes. I grant thee health." The next wise woman came and said, "I grant thee beauty." The next one came, "I grant thee wealth." They came one by one and granted the princess everything she could desire. The uninvited one marched into the palace. She was angry. "You didn't invite me." "My gift to you will be that when you turn 15, you will find a large, round, wooden spindle with a sharp, pointy needle. When you touch that needle, you will die." The people were horrified. Can you imagine that? That's awful. That wise woman stormed out. The other wise woman came and said, "Don't worry. I will give you another magical gift. You will not die. You will fall into a deep, deep sleep. You'll sleep for years and years." The people looked around and were a little bit comforted. The king, he decided to make a proclamation. They would look everywhere for all of the spindles and throw them out, destroy them by fire. He cherished his daughter. He wanted her to grow up and have a happy life. The king ordered that everyone would find those spindles, and they found many and destroyed them, and it seemed that there were no more spindles left in the country. The little girl grew, and when she turned 15, the king and queen, her parents, had gone off on a vacation somewhere. She was playing, and she was curious, went upstairs to see what was up there. She walked all the way up to the top of the palace. She remembered finding a key, and she wanted to know what it went to. She opened the door, and she saw an old woman sitting behind a round wooden spindle, spinning thread. The girl looked at her and asked, "What's that?" The woman, she said, "Oh, this is a round wooden spindle. Would you like to try?" The girl said, "Yes, please." The girl, as she began to touch the spindle, pricked her finger, and that was it. she fell into a deep sleep. The woman laughed with glee. She's dead. She's dead. But really, she was sleeping. The witch went away. When the people heard about the girl falling into the deep sleep, they didn't know what to do. They took her body and laid her out on a coffin and folded her arms in sleep. They put a flower in her hands. Years passed. Many, many princes came and tried to climb the tower, but they failed. They climbed up and fell down. Many died. It took years and years and years. The grandfathers passed on the story and said, "Don't climb that tower. If you do, you will die." But one boy, he was stubborn. He still wanted to try. People tried to change his mind, but he wanted to try. He rode his horse to the large tower. It was covered in brambles and briars. But he decided to risk it, and he started to climb up the tower. And as he did, he looked down on the town. He saw the people sleeping. The horses were laid over in sleep. The king and queen asleep, standing where they were. The birds stopped in mid-flight. The cows chewing cud stopped mid-chew. The bugs stopped right on the wall where they were climbing. He looked and said, "Wow, they've been there for years." He continued to climb up the tower, and he made it. He saw the girl lying there in rest. As he looked at her, he said, "Boy, she's beautiful," and his heart filled with love. He walked closer to her and kissed her. The girl's eyes fluttered open, and she awoke. She looked around. The prince stood there in excitement. The cows continued chewing their cud. The bugs continued walking up the wall. The birds, who were asleep, started to fly. The horses got up. The king and queen woke up and said, "Good morning." All of the people came from near and far, and they saw the prince and the girl, Sleeping Beauty, together as they kissed. Where's the witch? She's dead. She's gone off the scene. The king made a proclamation that the couple would get together and be married. They both lived happily ever after.